onto Bondi Beach on Christmas Day, but there was that gathering on Bronte Beach in the middle of the pandemic. All the evidence is that it was backpackers who were on some kind of student visa or some kind of temporary visa living here in the country, so-called backpackers. And the question's been asked, well, could their visas be revoked? We've certainly had a call from the North Sydney MP, Trent Zimmerman, to have a look at this. Well, Jason Polinsky, in fact, was the MP from one of the northern areas there. I won't get them mixed up. But the federal member for Mitchell is the member for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs. Got a long title. Alex Hawke, who joins us on the line now this morning. Minister, good morning.
Good morning, John.
Now, just on the question, I didn't get your name wrong, on the question of those people, if it is established that they're backpackers here on student visas, can they have their visas revoked?
Yeah, thanks, John. And look, like you, I was shocked at the scenes on Bronte Beach there, and I've heard from a lot of people across Sydney who are doing the right thing, who are very upset about it. And absolutely, under the Migration Act, if somebody is threatening public safety or health, their visa can be cancelled and revoked. And so certainly the federal government is looking at that issue. I've instructed the Department of Home Affairs to work closely with New South Wales authorities in the lead up to New Year's Day as well, to make sure that everyone is doing the right thing, and if anyone is caught doing the wrong thing, that their visa status will be brought before the federal government.
Okay, so that situation on Bronte Beach, where people have been issued fines or move-on orders where they've been identified. We had another one where there was a very large gathering at North Bondi. Who knows whether those people were backpackers? If they were and they've been identified and they've been fined, that information then would be passed on to the federal government, to the Immigration Department.
Yeah, look, I've instructed the Department of Home Affairs to work closely with those New South Wales authorities. You're right. Look, there has been a couple of incidents, and I think Sydney-siders would agree that, 10 months into a pandemic where we all know the drill now, we all understand how difficult this has been around the world. We understand why we have to be doing what we're doing. People who are guests in our country also have to do the right thing. I want to point out, John, most temporary visa holders and guests in our country are doing the right thing, like Australians, but of course it's unacceptable for people who are on temporary visas to be breaching public health orders. You must obey public health orders, and if you are a temporary visa holder in Australia and you do not, we will be examining your visa status with a view to cancellation if you are found to be doing the wrong thing.
Okay, just in practical terms, if someone's visa's cancelled, I presume they get deported. Is it possible to do that at the moment?
Well, look, one possible consequence is deportation, obviously. We can deport people. We have chartered flights to continue the normal process of immigration overseas, where we return people to home countries. I want to make it clear, I think most of their temporary visa holders are absolutely doing the right thing, and they understand how important it is. But, when we see these people, and I understand the emotional reaction people have, people on the northern beaches are doing the right thing, and we praise them for it. We don't want to have public health and safety jeopardised by a small group of people who are not respecting the country that they've come and been in. They know the situation in their home countries is worse in many respects, and we're warning them very clearly, John, that if they are caught and they are found doing it, we will certainly carefully examine their visa status.
Okay, just to clarify though, if it's not possible to deport them, they have their visas revoked, they then they're in a queue to get out of the country if they can.
Well, look, there are many options available to the department. You can put them into immigration detention, but obviously there's consequences to all of those things. However, what will happen is we're very happy to deport people. We're very happy to make sure if people are flagrantly disobeying public health orders and risking the health and safety of Australians and our other temporary visa holders, we will look at those options.
Okay, so if there are temporary visa holders who come to the attention of the police in any of our states in relation to these issues, you've made sure that the Home Affairs Department will find out, and it'll then get to the Immigration Department, then you'll make a decision as to whether they continue to keep those visas.
And certainly in the lead up to New Year's, absolutely. It's not okay to treat this New Year's Day as normal. We know the public health orders are saying there are restrictions in place. Temporary visa holders must obey those restrictions and public health orders the same as anyone else.
Yeah, two other quick ones. Australia Day coming up, of course, next month. And I've been an Australia Day ambassador for a long time. I'll be doing it at Bankstown this year. So I'm wondering, will they still be happening? What are the arrangements?
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for your work for Australia Day. It is intended that around the country Australia Day ceremonies will go ahead, the citizenship ceremonies. We've got about 350 programmed. Less people, of course, in a COVID-safe way, so about half the normal number, but about 12,000 people across the country if we can get that done. Obviously, that will be subject to the New South Wales Government's public health orders and restrictions, and we'll be having more to say about that as we get closer to Australia Day. But the New South Wales Government has done such a fabulous job so far of managing this outbreak on the northern beaches. We could well be on track to continue in Sydney. Of course, at the moment, the advice is we have to behave in a COVID-safe way, so we'll have more to say about Sydney. But, of course, across Australia, citizenship ceremonies will continue, and some are online. Most are in person, but about 12,000 people and 350 ceremonies can continue, and that's the dividend of all the hard work and sacrifice that people have made this year.
Yeah, that's right. And just a final one, international students, we know how important they are, a big part of our economy. Will they be coming back? Because you've got a lot of Australians who want to come back home. You've got international students. How are we going to manage that? What are the prospects of them being allowed back in to start the new school year, university year?
Well, it's an important question, John. At the moment, the government takes the view the priority is the returning Australians, and we've got so many Australians continuing to want to return here, and that's very understandable given the situation worldwide. With the caps that are in place from the states, and they are very restrictive, those caps, and the quarantine systems that are still, being worked out and have challenges with them, as we've seen in WA, we have to continue to prioritise returning Australians, and there's large numbers that want to continue returning home. Cabinet is carefully considering with the National Cabinet how we will bring safely international students to continue that great export market that we have. It's one of our biggest export sectors, international education, and as you say, it's vital to the Australian economy.
You can't say at this stage whether it's going to happen or not?
Well, we're planning to. It's just that, the numbers, the volumes of returning Australians just continue to increase, and people are making the decision as the pandemic stretches out around the world and you've got second and third waves that they want to come home. And when you've got a very restricted inflow with the caps, we have to prioritise Australians first.
All right, Minister, I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thanks so much, John.
Alex Hawke there, who's the Minister for Immigration.